Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I am Felicity Ezewike with the news on the hour. The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, was in Lagos Friday as guest speaker at the Lagos State House of Assembly in commemoration of the Chamber's 3rd anniversary. The Vice President also used the opportunity to commiserate with the Lagos State Governor and the people of Lagos over the disaster that happened this week. Professor Osinbajo talked about how a stronger state can eradicate poverty, citing the Awolowo legacy as a tool to creating a strong state to improve the socio-economic status of its citizens. He said the three arms of government must work proactively for the economic development of its citizens, and to achieve this, there must be devolution of powers to the states to enable them control their resources. He further commended the Lagos State Parliament for pushing the frontiers of federalism by passing laws which have strengthened federalism in Nigeria. The Lagos State government has announced the restriction of movement on the Oshodi flyover between Sunday night and Monday morning due to the ongoing construction of the Oshodi Transport Interchange. Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure Ade Akinsoya, in a statement, said the restriction will run from 10 p.m. Sunday and end at 5 a.m. on Monday to enable the hoisting of heavy structural steel trusses for the assembly of the Skywalk Bridge aspect of the project. He said officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, Federal Road Safety Corps, police and others will be deployed to help manage traffic and provide safety and security support during the 7-hour night operation. The Skywalk Bridge, at 53.4 meters long and 6 meters wide, is the longest freestanding pedestrian bridge in Nigeria. It will link the Terminal 1 and 2 buildings at the Oshodi Transport Interchange. Benue State government has confirmed that some internally displaced persons, IDPs in the state, have started returning to their homes. Lawrence Onoja, who is the state's Commissioner of Information and Orientation, told journalist Makodi that the attacks had reduced since the commencement of military operations on May 18, and this has given IDPs the confidence to return to what is left of their homes. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for responding to calls to upgrade and replace the military exercise with a full-scale operation. The Benue State Emergency Management Agency has so far registered more than 180,000 displaced persons, which it caters for in 8 camps, while over 500,000 IDPs are taking shelter wherever they can find space. A former Archbishop of the Catholic Church in Lagos, Cardinal Anthony Okoje, has requested for President Muhammadu Buhari's resignation for failing to secure the lives and property of Nigerians. The former Archbishop of the Catholic Church, Lagos, spoke in reaction to the incessant killings by suspected headsmen across the country. In an open letter titled, "Dear President, Call a Spade," Okoje noted that the amount of killings witnessed under Buhari's watch shows his administration has failed in its primary responsibility of securing the lives and property of citizens. According to him, one major factor that has worked against Mr. President was his choice to surround himself with men and women who failed to tell him the truth and instead shield him from the sufferings of Nigerians. He stated that these persons then attacked those whose discerning opinions would have allowed him to be successful. He urged the president to do the honorable thing and consider renouncing the presidential seat. President Muhammadu Buhari has stated that the federal government will provide support for victims of the rainstorm and windstorm in Katsina State. Speaking during a visit to the victims at the Emir of Katsina's palace, Buhari noted that the incident was beyond human imagination as the wind blew away old, strong buildings. He further noted that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, will assess the extent of damage recorded from the incident. Meanwhile, Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State put the volume of property lost at 2.3 billion naira, and the government plans on spending 200 million naira to fix the roofs of primary and secondary schools affected in the incident. According to AFP, Abubakar Shekau's position as leader of Boko Haram is being threatened by his diminishing health. Security sources in the northeast also said Shekau is currently battling health issues which have made him too weak to lead the jihadists. Reports say he has high blood pressure and failing eyesight due to complications from his diabetic condition. Against various reports by the Nigerian authorities claiming Shekal's death, the leader of the jihadist group appeared in a 14-minute video which was made available to the public on February 6, where he took responsibility for attacks in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. However, Yansen Perry, a counter-terrorism advisor and head of a modern security consulting group, said most terrorist organizations always prepare for the worst and have a man ready to step in as leader. Hence, he believes Shekal's removal would have a very limited effect eternally on their operations. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, has threatened to embark on a nationwide strike over the alleged sacking of 300 of its members by some oil companies. Chairman of the Port Harcourt zone of NUPENG, Mr. Alex Agwowo, who gave the threat on Friday, said a 7-day ultimatum has been issued to the Ministry of Labour and Productivity, as well as government at all levels, to recall the sacked workers or have the union withdraw its services. According to Agwowo, if on the expiration of the ultimatum on Monday, July 9, 2018, the union will embark on an indefinite strike until the workers are reinstated. He called on all tanker drivers, drilling workers and pump attendants to commence action if no counter notice is given by the union by the said date. The sacked oil workers were allegedly laid off for refusing to sign a document that would turn them to casual workers. Meanwhile, NUPENG's Deputy National President, Basi Hari, has thrown his weight behind the proposed industrial action, even as he sympathized with the families of victims of the recent fire incident on Otedola Bridge in Lagos that claimed 9 lives. An Imo State Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC, Imo APC, has been murdered by unknown gunmen. His kinsman, Martins Nwadike, who confirmed the murder, said Akanu was kidnapped on the eve of the just-concluded APC National Convention. He was, until his death, the Director General of Ezihe Foundation, one of the groups supporting the governorship aspiration of Mr. Uche Nwosu, who is the Chief of Staff to Governor Rochasu Okorocha. The murder of the native of Nkwere local government area is alleged to be in connection with a political tussle within the APC in the state. Akanu's kinsman, who alluded to this, said those who took lives in order to gain political positions will be disappointed in 2019. He also called on the nation's security agencies to ensure that his killers are brought to justice. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Mr. Andrew Ewerem, is yet to comment on the incident. After the successful APC convention last week, Honorable Leye Kwane and the Rivers Unity House, RUH, said on Friday that they are set to take steps towards reconciling the leader of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Magnus Abe, and the Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Amechi, in Rivers State. Speaking yesterday while in Port Harcourt, Honorable Kwane said the successful APC National Convention, which held last weekend, had to a good extent resolved the crisis in Rivers State. He said the disagreement in the party had been weakened as expectation of the ineffectiveness of the party congress and assertion that its delegates would not vote were all proven wrong. He further said the minority has a say, but the majority has its way. On the foreign scene, the UK House of Lords have reacted, condemning the continued killings of innocent civilians, particularly the killing of over 200 people, made up of mostly women and children, by armed Fulani militia across Nigeria. In a debate raised by Lord Elton of Liverpool, demanding to know what Her Majesty's government is doing to work with the Nigerian government to stop the situation from escalating, the House warned against a possible genocide. The rather long debate had other lords pitching in to narrate and commiserate with Nigerians on the situation, while vowing to commence necessary steps to stop what could escalate into a Rwanda genocide if not addressed. Still on the foreign scene, the Turkish military has carried out airstrikes in northern Iraq's Avansi Basian region on Saturday. This resulted in the killing of 4 Kurdish militants, as was reported on the official Twitter account. Turkey has recently increased its strike on the basis of the Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK) in northern Iraq, especially as it is the Kandil Mountains. The capital city, Ankara, has said it may launch a ground offensive into Kandil, while high-ranking PKK members are believed to be based. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will announce his choice of nominee as Supreme Court judge on July 9, 2018. Trump, who spoke to journalists on board the presidential aircraft Air Force One, confirmed he has narrowed down his choices to about 5 candidates, and that includes 2 women. Justice Anthony Kennedy announced his retirement earlier this week, which opened up the position for a new judge. Any nominee will need the confirmation of the Senate, where the president's Republican Party holds a narrow majority. Popular leader Doug Ford was sworn in as Ontario's new premier on Friday, ending 15 years of liberal rule in the popular city. Ford assumed power after he succeeded in Ontario's parliamentary elections earlier this month with a vow to cut personal and corporate taxes. During his campaign, Ford was very vocal on his intention to scrap Ontario's carbon trade system designed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and repeated the promise at Friday's ceremony. On Saturday, the Taliban, fighting to restore its version of strict Islamic law in Afghanistan, said they had attacked Daste-Kala, a district in the northern province of Taha, which they briefly overrun last month. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani declared a formal end to his government's ceasefire with the Taliban on Saturday, but called on the insurgents to agree to full peace talks following a 3-day truce during this month's Eid holiday. Ghani had ordered government forces to suspend offensives for 10 days after the Eid truce on June 15 to 17, which saw unarmed Taliban fighters mingling with soldiers, police and civilians on the streets of Kabul and elsewhere. Saturday's announcement means that Afghan security forces, which have adopted a largely defensive posture since Eid, can resume their normal operations against the Taliban, as well as Islamic State fighters, with whom there were no ceasefire. While regional neighbors, international partners, and Afghan civil movements have all called for peace, the Taliban has already rejected talks, and fierce fighting has been underway in many parts of Afghanistan since June. And in business, imported tramadol, codeine, and other illegal products were confiscated yesterday by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. The products, which were seized and destroyed, had an estimated street value of about 3.5 billion naira, of which tramadol and codeine were in large quantities. The destruction of these products was carried out by the NDLEA Dr. Olufunso Amosu, who is the Ogun State First Lady, and Professor Moji Adeyeye, the current Director General of NAFDAC. Professor Adeyeye urged the federal government to speed up the amendment of laws regarding counterfeit drugs, and also said the agency will not relent in exposing cartels that specialize in the importation of unwholesome products. She said among the products that were destroyed were counterfeit medicines, illegally imported unwholesome sugar, among others, with a large quantity of tramadol with a street value of 1.7 billion naira. She further said, as a way of emphasis, that only 50 milligram and 100 milligram of tramadol are approved for use in Nigeria. She confirmed that the 13 containers of unregistered and banned diclofenac and tramadol have been destroyed by the agency. Ex-Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, spoke up for women. suggesting the establishment of a bank for women in a bid to boost women enterprise in the country. Mugalu said 46.6% of women, despite their high level of productivity, still lacked access to financial services, as he urged banks to facilitate wealth creation for women. The basis of his argument was that women were enterprising, better borrowers and much better loan payers when compared to men. Also speaking at the lecture was Mr. Uche Oluwu, president of the CIBN, who spoke on the reports from the National Bureau of Statistics on unemployment, which rose steady to 18.8% in the third quarter of 2017 from 13.9% in the third quarter of 2016. He suggested that banks should play a significant role in resource allocation for infrastructural development, but also commended banks for their support through micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, while also supporting MSMEs across various production sectors of the economy.
Welcome to the entertainment news on Plus News on the Hour. A few days back, the actress Heather Locklear was arrested at her home just hours after she was released from jail for an apparent overdose. According to TMZ, the actress will be relocating from the psychiatric ward at LA Hospital to a long-term facility so that doctors, psychiatrists and others can help to treat her serious substance abuse and mental health issues. According to a close source, the doctors at the hospital conducted a battery of tests which revealed substance abuse and mental health, which is more serious than the early incident. So far, Heather has been cooperative and has willingly agreed to go for long-term treatment, but there is no arrangement to get conservatorship because the courts will not approve it. The actress family are keeping their fingers crossed, hoping she stays committed to receiving the treatment. In 2016, newly married power couple Tiwa Savage and T-Bills broke the internet with their marriage woes and T-Bills' alleged suicide attempt. T-Bills has now resurfaced on Instagram after vanishing from social media for almost a year. He posted on his Instagram a caption insinuating that if you do not live your life how you want to live it, it will be your greatest regret in life. On his Insta story, he was asking how to use the social media app again after being away for so long. And the ongoing battle between SARS and celebrities has witnessed yet another victim. Popular social media sensation and Nollywood actor Charles Okocha didn't back down as he recently fought off SARS after they threatened to shoot him. His hype man, who was with Okocha at the scene of the assault, posted a video on Instagram where it was clear that Okocha was questioning the statement of the officer who threatened to shoot him. And in another post on the hype man story, he said he also violently retaliated to the SARS official after being slapped first. A DNA test has proven the paternity of a 1-year-old girl that results show is the famous boxer Floyd Mayweather's little sister. Floyd Mayweather Sr., who trained his son during his epic boxing career, was in a paternity dispute with Purissa Faris earlier this year after the young lady filed for child support. Floyd Sr., who took a paternity test in April, has been confirmed the father of Purissa Faris's baby. This is his 6th child, including Floyd Mayweather Jr. And that's it on the entertainment news, the very best of sports right after this break.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. Going straight to basketball, the African qualifiers consist of 12 tournaments played across 6 windows. The first round sees 4 groups of 4 teams each, and teams face one another over the course of 2 legs. And teams from groups A and C already played during the first window, which ran from November 20th to 28th, 2017. And other groups, groups B and D, the decides took to the court during the second window in February 19 to 27, 2018. And all 16 teams across the 4 groups are in action during the third window, which runs from June the 25th to the 3rd of July 2018. And the top 3 teams from each group advanced to the second round, where the 12 qualified teams are divided into 2 groups E and F of 6 teams each. And the first legs of the second round tournament takes place during the first window, which will run from September the 10th till the 18th of September 2018, with the return legs to follow during the fifth window, which runs from November 26th to December the 4th, 2018, and the sixth window from the February 20th and 28th of 2019. And the top two teams from Groups E and F and the best third-ranked team will secure their tickets for the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019. And the first ever 32-team edition of FIBA's flagship competition will take place from August 31st to 15th of September 2019 in China. Going straight to football, Super Eagles forward Ahmed Musa's first goal against Iceland has been nominated as one of the best goals scored so far at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. And Musa's goal was listed in a poll by CNN Sports, which posted on their Twitter handle on Friday. And the other three players whose goals are in the shortlist are Portugal's Ricardo Quaresma, his goal versus Iran, Spain's Nacho Monreal, Nacho's goal against Portugal, and Lionel Messi's goal against Nigeria for Argentina. And fans are expected to cast their votes in the poll, which will be ending later today. Vote for your best goal of the tournament so far. And still on football, Kelechi Nwakali will join Portuguese club FC Porto on a season-long loan deal from Arsenal. And it will be the Super Eagles midfielder's third loan spell away from Arsenal since he joined in 2016. And the 20-year-old midfielder who shone for the Super Eagles in their friendly game against Atletico Madrid in May has been sent out on loan to Dutch clubs MVV Maastricht and VVV Venlo in the past, and is expected to complete his move to FC Porto in the coming days after passing the medical at the club. Kelechi Nwakali also confirmed his move via his Instagram page. He posted a picture of himself departing the shores of the country for Portugal with a note saying "back to work," #now we day here in Portugal, talking about going over to FC Porto. And the former Golden Eaglets and Flying Eagles captain is under contract until June 2021 with English Premier League side Arsenal. And that's it on Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Back to you, Felicity.
Thank you, Udoka. And that's the news at this hour. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Enjoy the rest of your day.